No one likes suffering. Everyone wants to be happy. In Vipassana, also called insight meditation, we observe our own minds and bodies in order to see them as they actually are, impermanent, unsatisfactory, and non-self. As a result of this insight, we begin to let go of our attachments. Less burdened by attachment, we feel free and at ease, even in unpleasant situations. Vipassana brings freedom from suffering and a happiness that doesn't depend on outward conditions. Insight meditation is not a religion, but a technique for purifying the mind. It can be practiced by anyone, whether male or female, young or old, healthy or sick, Eastern or Western. In fact, you don't even have to sit down to do it. Vipassana can be performed in any of the 4 main postures and can even be done while moving. In this video, we'll show you how to practice insight meditation while sitting, standing, walking, and lying down. We'll also demonstrate a hand motions exercise and the practice of mindful eating. But you don't have to learn all the exercises or do them in the order presented here. To start, choose 1 or 2 and practice for 10 or 15 minutes every day, gradually increasing the time. You can practice at any time of day, whenever it's convenient. When meditating, keep your awareness in the present moment at all times. That's the practice of mindfulness. Knowing what's occurring right now, this very second, in the body and mind. Don't think about the past or the future. When hearing a sound, for instance, just be aware of hearing now in the present moment. As soon as you know the sound, forget about it. Why? Because it's already gone. When a thought passes through your mind, simply know that thinking is occurring. Then let the thought go. Whatever you experience, whether good or bad, just know it for one moment, then let it go. Know and let go. Focus and forget it. Paying respect. This is AchanSobin S.Namto, a Buddhist monk from Thailand. He has been teaching Vipassana for more than 45 years. AchanSobin will demonstrate most of the exercises. Before beginning to meditate, it's traditional to pay respect to the teachings. Vipassana was discovered by the Buddha Gautama more than 2,500 years ago. When paying respect, we are offering homage to the Buddha, meaning wisdom, and to the teachings called the Dhamma. Third, we're acknowledging all the men and women who have attained wisdom. You may skip this step if you wish, but if you'd like to pay respect to the teachings, please follow along as we demonstrate. Begin with hands on your knees, palms facing down. Rotate your right hand. Raise it slowly. Bring the hand in front of the chest. Rotate your left hand. Raise it. Bring it to the chest. Place the palms together. Bow your head and say in your mind, "May I pay respect to the Buddha, his teachings, and those who have attained wisdom." Now, raise your head. Move the right hand out until it's over the knee. Lower the hand. Touch the knee. Rotate the hand. Repeat the steps with your left hand, moving, lowering, touching, turning. Now you're ready to begin the first meditation exercise. Exercise 1, rising and falling. In this exercise, you'll focus on the abdominal movements that happen as you breathe. Sit on the floor with your legs crossed. Use a cushion if you wish. If this position is uncomfortable, you may sit in a chair. Put your hands in your lap, palms facing upward, the right hand on top of the left. Your eyes may be open or closed. You should feel comfortable and relaxed, not tense. Now, bring your attention to the abdomen, a few inches above the navel. Find the point that seems clearest along the body's vertical midline. Don't look at the spot. Just put your mind there. As you inhale, the stomach expands. We call that rising. As you exhale, it deflates. We call that falling. As the abdomen rises, observe the motion with your mind from beginning to end. As the abdomen falls, do the same. That's all there is to it. If it's hard to perceive the abdominal motions, place your hands on your stomach. Continue watching the rising and falling movements, one after another, keeping your attention in the present moment. But don't focus on the breath or the abdomen. Just focus on the movement. You'll experience this as a tactile sensation of pressure. You don't have to concentrate too deeply. Follow the movements lightly, keeping your attention on the surface of the stomach. Empty your mind of all thoughts, memories, and plans. Forget everything except the single rising or falling movement happening now. But don't think about it, just know it. know it, and let go. And relax. Don't think of meditating with a capital M. Simply look to know whether the abdomen is rising or falling right now. In this very moment, which one is happening? There is always one or the other, since you're always breathing. If the abdomen stopped moving in and out, you'd no longer be alive. But don't mentally link the movements to a body part, thinking it's the abdomen moving, or to a self, thinking this is mine. Simply watch the movement with bare attention. Bare attention means to be aware of something without putting words to the experience. You don't describe or even name it. It is pure knowing without verbalization. But since this is difficult to do at first, beginners should label the movements with a mental note. As the abdomen expands, say rising. As the abdomen falls, say falling. Although I'm saying the words aloud, when you practice the exercise, say them silently, in your mind. Rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling. Say the mental note precisely as the movement happens, not afterwards. A few more pointers. When doing the exercise, don't visualize the abdomen. Just follow the path of the movement. And be sure to breathe naturally. Don't try to control your breathing. When your mind wanders away from the abdominal motions, just be aware it has wandered. Silently note, thinking, thinking. Then, gently bring your attention back to the abdominal motions. You'll have to do this hundreds of times, so be very patient and don't judge yourself. If a strong emotion arises, follow the same procedure as with thoughts. Label the emotion with a one-word mental note. If you're angry, for example, say in your mind, anger, anger. Then let it go. And gently bring your attention back to the rising-falling movements. Whether the emotion is blissful or painful, don't get caught up in it. Separate yourself and watch it as if you were watching a movie on a screen. When something else pulls your attention away from the abdominal motions, label it with a mental note also. If you hear a sound, note hearing. If you smell a fragrance, note smelling. If you feel itchy, note itching. If there's a painful or pleasant feeling in your body, note pain, pleasure, or feeling. After noting the object 1 or 2 times, gently bring the mind back to the rising and falling movements. Remember, only observe one thing at a time, one thing per moment. Vipassana is like walking on stepping stones. Your awareness can jump from one meditation object to the next, from a movement to a sound, an emotion, and so on. The rising and falling exercise should be practiced daily, anywhere from 10 minutes to 1 hour. If you want to meditate longer, alternate this exercise with walking meditation. Now, let's move on to the next exercise. Exercise 2, hand motions. Here, as in the previous exercise, you'll watch the body's movement. Your eyes may be open or closed. Ignore the abdominal motions. Focus only on the movement of the hand, the movement, not the hand itself. You don't have to look at your hand. Observe the motion with your mind. This exercise has 5 steps. Start with hands on your knees. Now rotate your right hand, raise it, lower it, touch the knee, and rotate the hand. Now let's repeat the steps from the beginning. As you do the movements, say the words in your mind. Turning, raising, lowering, touching, turning, turning, raising, lowering, touching, turning. That's the pace to use. Be sure to stop completely at the end of each movement. Each movement is like a stepping stone for mindfulness. Practice with the right hand, then switch to the left, giving it equal time. If you're ill and can't do sitting or walking meditation, you may do this exercise lying down. This exercise uses both hands together. Start with hands on your knees, palms facing down. Rotate your right hand. Raise it. Swing your forearm inward. Stop before touching the abdomen. Now put your hand against the abdomen. Repeat the actions with the left hand. I'll say the mental notes. Turning, raising, moving, touching. When both hands are against the stomach, observe the sitting posture for 1 moment, noting sitting in your mind. Now we'll repeat the movements in reverse. Swing the left hand out. Lower it. Touch the knee. Turn the hand. Repeat the movements with the right hand. Moving, lowering, touching, turning. Now let's repeat the entire exercise, starting with the right hand. I'll say the mental notes aloud. You can say them in your mind. Turning, raising, moving, touching, turning, raising, moving, touching, sitting, moving, lowering, touching, turning, moving, lowering, touching, turning. That's the pace to use when practicing on your own. Don't move too quickly or too slowly. Practice this exercise anywhere from 5 to 60 minutes. Now, let's move on to the next exercise. Exercise 3, the standing posture. In this exercise, you'll observe the standing posture itself. You can practice standing meditation for 5, 10, or 15 minutes before doing the walking exercise. Ignore the rising and falling motions. Stand with your arms in front of the body, one hand clasping the other wrist. Keep your eyes open, but don't look around the room. If you like, focus on one spot, such as the soles of your feet. Focus awareness on the present position or attitude of the body. When your limbs are arranged this way, the body feels different than when it's lying down or sitting. Be aware of how the standing posture feels. You might think of taking a mental snapshot of the posture. At the same time, silently note, standing. Know the pose with your mind, not your eyes. After focusing on the pose for a moment, let it go. Then immediately bring your mind back to the posture again. Keep looking at the position of the body in the present moment, one moment after another. Although you're not observing physical movement, the mind still moves because it turns to look at the posture again and again. You may observe sitting and lying down in the same way. Exercise 4. Mindfulness when changing posture. Beginners often lose mindfulness when changing posture. In this exercise, we'll show you how to move from one pose to another while maintaining step-by-step mindfulness. Observe every small action of the body. But first, note the intention, saying, intending to move. Next, place your hands against your abdomen. Stop completely after each individual movement. Move only one arm or leg at a time. Slowly begin to stand, breaking the action into a series of separate steps. Once you are fully standing, observe the new posture for a few moments. noting how it feels. During meditation practice, apply the step-by-step technique whenever you change posture. That way, mindfulness will stay continuous. Exercise 5. Basic walking meditation. Find a place where you can walk in a straight line for at least 7 paces. Remove your shoes, if possible. This is Margarita. She will demonstrate basic walking meditation. Begin by standing, your hands in front of your body, one hand clasping the other. Look straight ahead or toward the floor several feet in front of you. Observe the standing posture first. As you do, say in your mind, standing, standing. Next, note the intention to move. Then lift the right foot and place it down, then the left foot. As you move, say in your mind, placing, placing. On the last step, say stopping. Observe the standing posture again. Standing, standing. Now you'll begin to turn. The turn has 4 steps. Be aware of the intention to move first, saying in your mind, intending to turn. Then, lift the toes of your right foot and pivot on your heel. Lift the left foot and place it down. The left foot doesn't pivot, but steps. Turning, turning. Finally, note, intending to walk and continue walking. Placing, placing, placing. Be sure to stop completely at the end of each step before moving the other foot. Placing, placing, stopping. Now, let's watch the exercise once more from the beginning. Observe the standing posture first. Standing, standing. Intending to walk. Placing, placing, placing. During walking meditation, don't pay attention to what you're seeing and ignore the abdominal motions. Focus only on the movement of the foot, the movement, not the physical foot itself. Stopping, standing, intending to turn, turning. As you turn, keep your head in line with your torso, as if you were wearing a neck brace. Turning, turning, intending to walk. Placing, placing. One final note. Don't look at your feet. Follow the movement with your mind. Placing, placing, stopping, You may practice this exercise anywhere from 15 minutes to 1 hour. Now, let's watch the exercise once more. This time, try doing the exercise as I say the mental notes aloud. When practicing on your own, say the mental notes silently in your mind. Let's begin. Standing, standing, intending to walk, placing, 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 stopping, standing, standing, intending to turn, turning, 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 intending to walk, placing, 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 stopping. That's the basic exercise. Next, we'll show you advanced walking meditation. But don't practice advanced walking until you've mastered the basic exercise. Exercise 6. Advanced walking meditation. In advanced walking meditation, each step is broken down into a series of smaller movements. We'll show you 5 different advanced walking steps. You can substitute any of these for the basic step we just demonstrated. The turn is always the same, regardless of which step you do. The 2-part step. Lift the heel, then place the foot down. Lifting, placing. Lifting, placing. Remember, stop completely after each movement. Now, let's watch that again. Lifting, placing. Lifting, placing. Lifting, placing. The 3-part step. AchanSobin will demonstrate the next 4 steps. I'll say the mental notes aloud. When you practice the exercise, say the notes in your mind. Lifting, moving, placing. Lifting, moving, placing. Now let's watch that again. lifting, moving, placing, lifting, moving, placing. The 4-part step. Heel up, lifting, moving, placing. Heel up, lifting, moving, placing. Once again, heel up, lifting, moving, placing. Heel up, lifting, moving, placing. The 5-part step. Heel up, lifting, moving, lowering, placing. Heel up, lifting, moving, lowering, placing. Let's watch that again. Heel up, lifting, moving, lowering, placing. Heel up, lifting, moving, lowering, placing. The 6-part step. Remember to stop completely at the end of each movement. Heel up, lifting, moving, lowering, touching, placing. Heel up, lifting, moving, lowering, touching, placing. Once again, heel up, lifting, moving, lowering, touching, placing. Heel up, lifting, moving, lowering, touching, placing. Exercise 7, the lying down posture. During an intensive meditation retreat, a period of days devoted only to meditation, you should practice Vipassana in all 4 postures, including lying down. But don't lie down more than 15 minutes at a time, or you might fall asleep. If you're ill, however, you can lie down longer. When practicing any of the exercises we'll show you today, try to focus on the meditation object itself, instead of on the mental note. Please watch as AchanSobin demonstrates how to lie down with step-by-step mindfulness. Move your hand, stopping fully after each individual movement. Move your legs one at a time. Label these actions moving. Lie on your side with the lower arm under your head or extended in front of the chest, the upper arm resting against the side of your body. You may put a pillow under your head. Now, observe the lying down posture in the same way you observed standing. Ignore the abdominal motions. Observe the pose the body is adopting in the present moment. As you do, note lying, lying in your mind. Or, instead of observing the posture, you may watch the abdominal movements, but don't watch both at the same time. Exercise 8. Mindful eating. In this exercise, we'll show you how to eat with step-by-step mindfulness. Follow this practice during an intensive meditation retreat. A meditation retreat provides a special environment in which to practice Vipassana all day long. Because insight knowledge can arise at any time, even while eating or brushing your teeth, every activity during a retreat should be performed mindfully. If you're carrying your plate, put it on the table first, noting placing. Then, stand beside the chair and note standing. Next, extend your hand and adjust the chair, noting the feeling of contact. Remember to stop completely after each movement. Say in your mind, intending to sit. Sit down slowly, being mindful of the movement of the body. Place your hands on your knees, one by one. Now you're ready to begin eating. Before eating, look at the food. Say in your mind, seeing. Next, note the intention to move. Rotate your hand. Raise it. Pick up the fork or spoon, knowing the sensation of touch. Lift the fork and move it toward the food. Place the food on the fork. Raise it to your mouth. Put the food in your mouth, but don't begin to chew yet. Put the fork down and return your hand to your knee. You still haven't begun to chew. Now, chew the food, focusing on the movement of the jaw or tongue. Moving, 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 moving. When you swallow, note swallowing. As you chew, flavor will appear. If the flavor is bland, keep focusing on the movement of the jaw. But if the flavor is strong, focus on the flavor. Tasting, tasting, tasting. Also, note any desire that arises for the food. When you finish chewing, be aware the mouth is empty. Note the intention to take another bite and begin the process again. Raising, moving, lowering, touching. Raising, moving, moving, raising, moving, touching. Moving, lowering, placing, moving, moving, lowering, touching, turning, moving, tasting. As you chew, try to separate the flavor from the tactile mass of the food, the movement of the tongue, and the desire for the food. All these are different phenomena. Use the mental notes: moving, tasting, touching, desire, and so on. Remember, only observe one object at a time. If you need to use both hands to cut something, focus your attention on one hand only. You may eat as much as you like, but stay mindful. You can apply the same step-by-step procedure to drinking. Observe the intention, noting, intending to drink. Raise your hand, extend it. Take hold of the glass, move it toward you. Take a few sips of water. And return the glass to the table. Now, bring your hand back to the knee, moving step by step. That concludes our demonstration of insight meditation. We hope you'll practice some of these exercises every day until you reach the end of suffering. Freedom, the ultimate happiness.